And it's time for court today. Murtala Inusa is here in the studio with the details of what's been happening in our court. So yesterday, we're all waiting to hear what the Supreme Court will say with regard to the anti-LGBTQ plus case. A decision has been made and judgments will be given in the coming days. Murtala Inusa is here to tell us all about that. Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Lantan.
How are you doing today?
Great, I'm fine. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. Great to have you here in the studio.
Absolutely.
Let's zoom straight into it. What did the judges say yesterday?
So, for all that we have been hearing, the processes have not been filed, the parties are not ready, they haven't complied with directive to file their statement of case, joint memorandum of issues, and all that. So, in the coming days, we saw that they were wrapping up their activities. Court gave them some extension of time after some of them were out of time. They filed all of them. So now the case was ripe for hearing. And yesterday the parties appeared at the Supreme Court. We didn't see the numbers as we used to see initially, or even in relation to the case from the Alexander Afenyo Markings. You note that the Supreme Court was heavily packed. In relation to yesterday's sitting, it was relatively very quiet. But ultimately, the most important thing or subject matter we considered, Richard Delaskai's version of the case, and then Dr. Amanda Odoi's version of the case. Both cases were caught separately. But before I tell you what really took place in relation to that, we have a 7-member panel, and this panel is being chaired by Justice Lovely Johnson. And then Justice Johnson, together with Professor Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu, also part of the panel, Justice Barbara Akayezu, part of the panel, Justice Samuel Esiedu, part of the panel, Justice Yauda Kwasari, part of this panel, Justice Enes Gawu, part of the panel, and then Justice Frimpong Eji, also part of the panel. So initially, if you look at the panel that were considering the initial preliminary issues and all that, you notice that the Chief Justice was part of the panel.
Yes.
Justice Maria Mawusu, and that panel were 5. But this is a constitutional matter, so it's composed of 5. So 2 more were added, and 2 were out. The Chief Justice is out, and Justice Maria Mawusu is out. Justice Maria Mawusu has retired. So the new panel considering this case, Justice Lovely Johnson is the one presiding. And when the case was called, all the lawyers relied heavily on their processes for the statement of case, joint memorandum of issue, and other processes that they have filed before the court. However, counsel for Richard Sky, Parkwesi Abedu, indicate that there was one key thing that they omitted in their statement of case, and what they want the court, that is the financial impact analysis report, assessment report, I must say, and that is key and fundamental to the case before the court. When you are introducing a private member bill, it requires that you produce this financial impact assessment report, and that is mandatory. It precedes everything before the bill could be considered. The speaker indicated that they have it. As we speak, that report have not been made available, and they say that they were drawing the court's attention to certain provisions and the kind of thing that the court should know in relation to the introduction of this bill. Thaddeus Sori looked at the situation and said, look, it will be fair for the parties or for the plaintiff and his lawyers to be given time to file that officially or by way of a written an amendment to what they have had, so that they can, the respondent, Attorney General, and then the speaker can respond to that. And note that Richard Sky's one was filed, Richard Sky versus the Parliament of Ghana and the Attorney General. The court looked at it and said, look, the plaintiff in the matter, amend your statement of case. Amend your statement of case by the 22nd of November. Then the respondent will have up to 27th of November to file a reply, if any. And then the court has fixed December 18, 2024 for its judgment in relation to Richard Sky version of the case. Then the second leg of the case, which is also separate, Dr. Amanda Odoi's. The court adopted all the processes that were filed and then held that judgment will be delivered also on December 18. So in relation to the anti-gay cases at the Supreme Court, the controversies and all the talks about this whole matter, on the 18th of December, this matter will be put to rest by a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court. But of course, Parkwesi Abedu, who is counsel for Richard Sky, has been responding moments after the Supreme Court fixed 18 December to deliver judgment?
I think, as I indicated at the last meeting we had, the hold-up wasn't coming for us. And the impression was created along the line that we were delaying the hearing of this matter. Whilst in actual fact, it was cancelled for the speaker who had not filed his defense and statement of case at the time. But apparently when he did so, the court sat on the matter today, and after hearing both sides confirming their filing of the needful as fixed the 18th of December as the date of judgment in the case. However, there's a very crucial subject for determination in this case as to whether the LGBTQ APP plus bill could have been admitted without a financial impact assessment report. We are insisting that under Article 108 of the 1992 Constitution, the Speaker made a wrong admission of the bill without that report. Counsel for the Speaker, you remember on the floor of the court, said that he has just had message that it was attached to the report. Yeah. For that reason, they were going to bring it. I don't want to preempt what the Supreme Court is going to say, but from all pleadings filed in this matter, we have not as yet cited this financial impact assessment report from the Speaker's lawyers. So to accentuate the fact that it is a mandatory requirement, we have gone beyond the Constitution to cite legislation backing the attachment of that document, and that is the Public Financial Management Act, which is Act 921. We have, yes, of 2016, we have indicated that by Section 100, subsection 1 of that law, the financial impact assessment report should have been attached. Then we have gone further to show that by even a subsidiary legislation, and that is LI 1373, that report should have been attached, and Regulation 12 of that law, that report should have been attached. So the presiding justice of the Supreme Court said that in that regard, it would be good if we indicate it in our statement of case. And that is what we've been asked to do between today and 22nd. And we promise the whole nation that we'll keep to that deadline.
So, Pakwisi Abedu, counsel for Richard Sky, saying that they would file it by 22nd, and then the respondent will have up to 27 to file this report. So quite interesting, saying gathering momentum and all of that. But of course, how important that particular financial impact assessment report is? I asked him, is it an oversight? That is why you couldn't include it in your initial stage, and this is what he has to say.
In our tradition, we say that too much fish does not spoil the soup. We have quoted the overriding law of the country, which is the Constitution, Act 108. So bringing the legislation and the subsidiary legislation is only meant to emphasize that the importance of the financial impact assessment report is so crucial to Parliament that all laws which are emanating from Act 108 equally emphasize on it. But not that an omission of those legislation and subsidiary legislation will take away the stay of our argument. It will not take away anything. Our position remains the same.
So, December 18, judgment will be delivered.
We will know what
matter.
the court will say about these cases. Yes. All right. Let's move on to some of the cases that we're expecting to come up in court today. Or should I say yesterday there was another case, right? Richard Jakpa was in court yesterday.
He was supposed to be in court
So what did he do? What happened? What happened
So
with
no
that?
show in relation to that. You know, the matter has become moot.
Yeah.
And so the most important or the most prudent thing is for them to withdraw. And that action has been withdrawn.
So they've withdrawn?
Yeah, it's been withdrawn.
So no more cases again?
Struck out as withdrawn because this case has been dealt with by the Court of Appeal. But the Attorney General has appealed against their acquittal. So we'll know when that is listed for the Supreme Court. But for now, there's nothing against the Richard Jakpa and Dr. Kesi Latofos.
All right, so coming up today, something that a lot of people are very interested in.
Yes.
The case involving Bishop Salifu Amoako.
The East Legon incident.
16-year-old son.
Yes, so today, before the juvenile court, the 16-year-old is expected back at the court. You note that because he is a juvenile, it is not allowed that the case is adjourned beyond a week. So every week, he had to appear before the court, and today is expected to happen. And this case, I tell you what, it's been very difficult even having information in relation to that because of the courts that the case is a juvenile court. It's not open to the public. And when you talk to the parties, both prosecution and the defense lawyers and all of that, all of them have been very tight-lipped in terms of giving information that we can also relay to the public. So that is one thing that is about. Clearly, this case is expected in court, and then the young boy will be back in court today in relation to this matter. So that is what we do expect, and some other cases that probably will chance on at the corridors of the courts.
All right. Thank you very much, Mutala Inusazai, bringing us the latest from the courts. That will do it for courts today.